On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again. I hope you guys are ready, but first I want to thank everyone who's stopping by to catch the show. I appreciate you guys taking your time. I appreciate the feedback. As you can see, I got rid of the moving background because apparently people are watching this. Now, I'm going to have to apologize. I thought it was pretty cool. We'll probably bring it back for the live stream, something of the like for the live stream. I'm going to have a live background for the live stream because it's live and live, but I don't really sit and watch much content myself. I normally put it on my headphones and I'll listen to it while I'm working and I just ingest the information. I'm not actually watching what's going on. I'm listening to it. So I absorb most of my content on YouTube in a fashion where I'm not looking at it. So I do appreciate the feedback. I had somebody, we got a new subscriber, and that person dropped in the comments on one of my older videos that they actually watched the video. And I appreciate that. I really do. So as soon, like, obviously I had some pre-records that I'd already had done, but this is me taking the critique. Like, I shortened the introduction because people were like, hey, like, your introduction's long. I don't like it. And I can understand that because some of the content that I follow, such as Wall Street Trapper, has a super long introduction, and I got to fast forward through it, and it is actually annoying. Mine is not that long, nor was it ever, but like we got it down to like 20 seconds. It's like a little, give me a little time to get in the mode, sit here, get the lights on me. But I do take the feedback, and I do want my community. Obviously, those people who've been rocking out with the Wolfpack from the original channel that are jockeying both videos, because I'm having to remember to do a community post over there when these videos drop so that you guys don't miss it. In the core group, they know I take feedback. I take it pretty well. And I try to improve because I want you guys to, well, actually, most importantly, I want you to get the content so that your lives can get better. But I do want you to enjoy the content, so thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Secondly, all the people who are tapping in or coming across this for the first time, I welcome you to like the video. Give me a like. That's my one fee for watching these videos, is just hit the like button for me. It just lets me know that people are watching. Gives me a little attaboy for getting the content out there. And if you like the content, I would also urge you to subscribe. If it's your second time here, even if you hate watch, because I know that there's some people out there who watch my content because they don't like me and they're waiting for me to have to make those episodes about numbers going down or me failing, and I will, but it's not going to be in the sense that they want, because like I get hype when numbers go down and I'm failing. So if you've tapped in more than once, hit the subscribe button and turn that bell notification on so that you can hate watch on the regular as the videos premiere, because then you can get in the comments and spoil it for other people. Now, but most definitely tapping in. So what are we talking about today? If you are looking at the price of Bitcoin and your eyes are boggling and you didn't listen to old Reckless Ray because you were following him on Facebook, which is where all the hate watchers come from buying you. They all come from Facebook because people on my Facebook get big mad at me because I don't agree with them. And I'm fine about it because I'm still winning. But if you weren't listening back in 2013 when I was gung-ho on social medias about Bitcoin and really getting into stuff and telling everybody that it was the next coming, and you didn't buy it when it was under $10,000, and you're looking at it now at above $90,000, touching $95,000, by the time you see this video, it might be over $100,000. And you go, I can't afford Bitcoin. Well, I got two pieces of information for you. The first one is you can buy fractions of Bitcoin. I did not start off buying whole Bitcoins either. I was paying for parts of Bitcoin called Satoshis, of which Bitcoin is, I think it's 100 million Satoshis. I'm going to Google that because I don't want to give you guys misinformation. That's one thing that you're not going to catch old Reckless Ray to narrow up on, because you can see I'm sitting at a desk with a computer so I can look stuff up. How many Satoshis in a Bitcoin? Ooh, I was right. It's 100 million Satoshis. Booyah. Just wanted to verify. Trust but verify always. That's the reason I always say don't trust random guys on the internet. Do your own research. But in this case, I did the research for you. And Google validated what I said. But I was buying Satoshis. I was buying it with pieces of my check. Just insane. I was doing anything that I could to scrape by to get me some Bitcoin until I finally got over the coveted one Bitcoin. Couple of fun facts about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now over what most average Americans have in their retirement savings. So I have more in my crypto portfolio than you have in your retirement savings. I don't even worry about retirement savings because old Reckless Ray Dinero isn't trying to retire at 70. He's trying to retire soon. Sooner the better. Sooner the better, because people be playing with money, and I don't like it. So, there's that. That's a fun fact about Bitcoin. Another fun fact about Bitcoin is we have retaken the throne from silver. We've knocked silver out of the way. Coming for some other higher market cap items, I think Amazon's next in line. On the road to dethroning gold. That's just what I think is going to happen. So, there's that. But you might think you missed the boat. Oh, God, that's so expensive, $90,000. Well, our episode today is about a strategy that I've also implemented with my Bitcoin standard, because while you might not buy Bitcoin, I'm not stopping buying Bitcoin. I'm going to buy Bitcoin today. I'm buying Bitcoin tomorrow. I'm buying Bitcoin next week. Actually, the reality of it is I buy Bitcoin every time I get paid. So when my dividend checks get cut, I buy Bitcoin. When my W-2 paycheck, it's not enough money comes in, I buy Bitcoin. These are the things that I do on the regular to ensure that I am doing everything that I can to secure my future. I'm looking at Bitcoin as my retirement. I do believe that within the next 10, 15, 20 years, Bitcoin will be at or above $1 million. With that said, I mean, at that point, I should have my income well, I mean, it's not going to take me 15 years to get the income portfolio to where it needs to be. Honestly, we're making some breakneck adjustments to my goals for 2025 now, because I want out. I want out as soon as possible. Like I said, you play with the money, you lose the trust, I'm out. It's over. So we're going to be putting all of our money, hopefully, into as much of the income portfolio as possible. Because I originally said it was 36 months. I'm trying to cut it down to 24 or less. But we'll see how that goes. But we're going to make a college effort, because the numbers that we're sitting at now, we're at 50% to the goal. And so I think if we can get another 50%, and I think the boost that we're going to get for tax season, the tax season strategy, which I actually need to do a video on, I think that's going to give us a boost, especially with these outlandish payouts that we're getting. This month's next month's or the portfolio update for the numbers this month are going to be outrageous. And yeah, so we're pushing as hard as we can. But one of the things that we're doing is the topic of this video, and that is why I'm all in on MicroStrategy, ticker symbol MSTR. So let's jump into that. I'm going to barrel through this with the ferocity of a charging rhinoceros. That's what we're going with. When you guys get ferocious and start charging, tell me down in the comments, what animal are you channeling as your spirit animal? I'm channeling a rhinoceros. They're very hard to stop. As far as in the animal kingdom, if I was to make an analogy to my comic book background, the rhinoceros would be like the juggernaut. Yeah. So, first question, what is MicroStrategy even? Why are we talking about it? Well, MicroStrategy is a global business leader in business intelligence software and cloud-based analytics. The company is known for developing software solutions that help organizations analyze vast amounts of data to make informed business decisions. MicroStrategy offers products through both on-premise and cloud solutions. It has also become widely known for its involvement in Bitcoin. Now, this is why we're tapped in, because honestly, the entire business model of MicroStrategy, if I was just looking at it as a company, I would not be interested because AI has pretty much rendered the company irrelevant. That said, because AI can do all those things now on a subscription base to OpenAI. So I got this answer from OpenAI because it just does very well at pulling information. So that's what they were doing. And August of 2020, they did something interesting because the company wasn't profitable consistently. Now, they did have reoccurring revenues, but costs are going up. People's rates are going up. You got to give raises. Apparently, if you're a good business and want to keep your employees, you give raises. You know, you want people to work for you, pay them. That's a good idea. So the costs are going up and they had to figure out something to do to keep boosting the value of the company. And this is where I think it is awesome because Michael Saylor has said it in a bunch of interviews about being desperate and trying to find something to do with his reserves. And honestly, I think he was desperate and trying to find something to do with his company to keep it relevant, to evolve. You got to evolve or die. And so what did he do? He started buying Bitcoin. That's what he did. Then he started taking out loans to buy Bitcoin because this man does math and they could get cheap and or darn near free money. And he bought the best performing asset in the world the last 15 years. And it worked. And now we fast forward, he's still buying Bitcoin. The price of MicroStrategy is skyrocketing. I mean, it's so bad that I originally started buying at under, I think it was around like 250. Actually, I think it was 220, 250, 220, somewhere in there. And I was trying to get 10 shares before it broke 300. And then it broke 300. And then just this week, I watched, well, when you guys see this, it won't be this week. A few weeks ago, actually a couple of weeks ago, I watched as they reassess, because traditional finance cannot, for the life of them, wrap their heads around how these markets work or function in regards to crypto. And it's super sad, and I feel for them. But on that same note, I don't feel that bad because they got all the money. They got all the power. They got all the stuff. This is our one way to equalize. The market is the great equalizer. It's a wealth equalizer. Everybody has a fair shake within reason. We have an unfair advantage in regards to crypto-related assets. For those of us who are in the wolf pack that are in the know, if you've tapped in with me on videos, then you should understand these things. My friends over in Reddit that are involved in a part of this that we're going to talk about later, shout out to the YieldMax gang. I be in there trying to help people and answer questions and give my 2 cents very condescendingly as much as I possibly can throughout my workday. Shout out to the Reddit family. But those of us who know or in the know what this is. And he made this play. He saved his company, dramatically increased the value. And now we're going to get to why I'm involved, why I picked this company, because I believe he's doing something special. I believe he is doing something similar to what Warren Buffett did with Berkshire Hathaway, because Berkshire Hathaway was a failing textile company and he just kept the name. He bought the company, rebranded it, and kept the name. MicroStrategy is a company that saw the evolution of the industry. They saw AI coming. And Michael Saylor, in his infinite wisdom, had to find something else for them to do, because what they're doing is directly getting eaten. When we talk about all these people at these white collar jobs, because they said all the blue collar jobs, the robots were going to replace us first, and actually started at the top and is working its way down. But all these people that we're talking about losing their jobs at a certain point, because I mean, the demo clinic, the clinic that I did on AI personally went over data analytics. So like for businesses, literally this. And we used AI to do it, and it was super good at it. It can, and I mean, I don't know what the back end of this software does, but I mean, being able to talk to a computer and ask it questions, like now it's talking back to you like a person. It can read documents. You upload the stuff to it. It can spit you back the information in any format that you want it. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm just saying, like, OpenAI really ain't that expensive. That's all I'm saying. So, like, unless they're charging dirt, and if they're not charging dirt, then the prices are going down on it. So he's pivoting that company from a dead business model, because all those businesses that are in competition with MicroStrategy are also going to be going out of business, because now you're in competition with AI. It's a no-brainer. AI keeps learning. It upgrades for free. Into the future, which is a Bitcoin acquisition business, which is genius to me. And it's been working. But I watched from 300, the traditional finance gurus all assess their targets to 450, and the next day in the market, it went to 440. And then the next day it went past it. Like, y'all better quit playing with MicroStrategy. That's all I'm saying. Like, this business is, at least for the foreseeable, future-proof. And I think that the way that Saylor's mind and the way that he's been leading this company, because not only did he convert it over to a Bitcoin acquisition company, more or less, he got rid of all the investors that weren't on board. He bought them out. And then kept rolling. So like now everybody, including myself as a shareholder, we're all on board with the plan. We understand the assignment. And I'm hoping that everyone who's on board is also following through and handling the assignment in their own personal lives by implementing a Bitcoin standard as well. Like, why would you watch somebody else do something to make themselves insanely rich and then you not take part in it? Like, that's crazy to me. But for my traditional finance portfolio as a Bitcoin holder, I'm not going to put a Bitcoin ETF in my traditional finance portfolio, because the whole premise of Bitcoin is no middlemen. But what I will do is add a product that gives me a 1.5x return, because when Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy is roughly around that percentage of going up, and it is running, baby. It is running. They've already done a stock split. They're probably going to have to do another stock split. Not only did they do a stock split, and nobody ever talks about this, but their stock split, Nvidia's still recovering from their stock split. MicroStrategy is already on the way back to where it came from. It didn't even take a break when they split that stock, because I thought I had time. So I looked away. That's my bad. Didn't pay attention to it because I was like, oh, I got a few months to get back into this. I'm going to wait and see what happens, because it's probably going to go down lower just like Nvidia did. It's going to dump on me. Didn't. And people started buying it and just buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. So I'm going to be in for the next stock split, and I'm going to buy that too. Because any opportunity to get in there for a semi-affordable price, because, like, I mean, even at 200, that was too expensive for some people, but it's sitting at like 3 something, 4 something now. 4 something, 5 something, probably, because it's going to be a couple of weeks and Bitcoin's going up. But MicroStrategy is not $90,000. So, for those of you in the traditional finance space that are looking for that little oomph, something that's going to run, MicroStrategy is the play, in my opinion. Now, we're going to be moving over to what has been my plan. So I've been rushing to get to 10 shares. I'm currently at 5 shares. Tomorrow, well, not tomorrow. My dividend check is coming in tomorrow. I'll be at 6 shares then. I'm buying every dividend pay date. And then whenever I have extra money, because obviously we're in the midst of operation debt, so I don't have like a whole bunch of capital, and it's cleared itself out of the range of what I was able to easily take off of a check. And it wasn't even easily, it was like, cutting a little bit into the amount of money that's going towards the debt, but like I really want to get this position before the parabolic run. And here we are, folks. Just like I said, best laid plans, and then life happens, but we're persevering. We've just shifted the way that we're moving money around. So we've got a couple of other positions in the long-term portfolio that we're going to be looking at. I'm also going to be probably, goodness gracious. Yeah, we're going to be looking at some of these positions. That's for sure. But yeah, so we're doing that. That's the strategy, is as I get bulk payments in, because I think I'm all done getting tax returns, which is unfortunate. But it's a fortunate, unfortunate problem, because I'm not going to be getting tax returns because I'm making so much money in the market. We're printing so much money out of the market that now we're going to be stepping over into the, you're going to owe some taxes. Also stepping into the realm of, we're going to have to start turning some stuff on to start protecting us from taxes, because we're going to be making so much money from dividends that it's kicking up my annual income. So we're rapidly approaching. I'm going to actually be getting into the realm of that 6-figure mark with my side hustle of my income portfolio and managing my portfolio and finances. Portfolio growth since the election, we're well into the $50,000 in growth of assets. The income's kicked up. We're getting healthy checks, which is awesome. And yeah, so basically we're going to keep focusing on building out the portfolio. We're going to keep focusing on buying MicroStrategy, but I think we're down to forcing myself to buy MicroStrategy out of my income portfolio, which brings us to the next question. How am I buying MicroStrategy out of my income portfolio? That's a good question. We are using, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put this up on the screen for y'all so you can see it. Oh, not the distribution schedule. I want to cover call. Oh, there it is. All right, let me share this. I'll lay it out for you. This is my MicroStrategy strategy, actually. What it's become. Because 2 weeks from now, it's going to be... Oh, yeah, this will be after the first of the month, so I can tell you guys where we're at here. Okay, so this is MicroStrategy. We're using Misty, which is a covered call option income strategy ETF by YieldMax. I am a huge YieldMax advocate. That's the first thing. I've got 4 funds that'll be coming through them. We're going to be setting myself up to be pulling in income weekly and good amounts of income weekly. The core of it is Misty. I have consolidated darn near everything. It's literally right now it's sitting at 99% of my portfolio. And the reason being is this coincides with my Bitcoin thesis. I believe that Bitcoin's going to $1 million. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, that means MicroStrategy stock is at around $33,000 a share, which is why I believe that they're going to be the next Berkshire Hathaway of the future. I do. I mean, honestly, I don't understand why they haven't started and pivoted their business into a consulting company to where they're getting paid on top of what they're doing to potentially help onboard other large businesses and small businesses and people. Saylor himself has said that they're looking to be set up as a Bitcoin bank, so he could be on the way to doing this. But as it sits right now, they are the largest holder of Bitcoin as far as a public traded company goes. They hold more than some, actually, I'd say most countries aside from the United States, maybe. They might be the largest holder of Bitcoin at this point. I'm not even sure. It's between them and BlackRock. And this covered call strategy, obviously, if numbers go up, that works well for calls or their income strategy. It's based on calls. But as you can see, the distribution rate is sitting at 128.87%. After tomorrow's distribution, I think this number is going to kick up a little bit because I'm pretty sure on their announcement today that it's higher. So by the time you guys are seeing this, it'll be higher. And so I've consolidated my entire portfolio down into Misty. MicroStrategy has had such a parabolic run that I am no longer experiencing NAV erosion on this position. What's that mean? Everybody, I remember a couple of videos ago, poor guy, didn't age well, not aging well. He's going to be one of those hate watchers that's sitting there going, oh, well, it's not going to be like that forever. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, you're right. And maybe it won't. But the issue isn't whether it's like that forever. The issue is whether I get my money back. And we are well into the money back range. Now, you will have seen the portfolio update before this. So we've already had the conversation by this point. I'm speaking to you into the future right now about exactly what the numbers are. But the numbers are the numbers. Math is math. That's the beautiful thing about math is it doesn't care about how you feel about your investment products. It doesn't care about how you feel about what Dave Ramsey told you to do and how you're supposed to avoid debt because we're winning over here based on math and numbers. And like, oh, well, you can't do that forever. Well, like technically speaking, you can't do anything forever because your house is barely an asset anymore. Most of you don't have houses. Most of you are talking about you're never going to be able to buy a house. So good luck saving up cash for that entire home that you're never going to get. You'll be in a shanty and it's going to be expensive. And then you're going to be broke. And then your shanty's going to fall apart. But as we're going through, so I've consolidated my entire portfolio down into Misty. There's positions that we're wheeling off of Misty. We're using the wheel strategy. But the other thing that I've done with my personal financial strategy is everything goes into Misty first. I am buying Misty voraciously. Why? Because I'm using the dividend payout off Misty to buy assets also. So like we're getting our share of MSTR. And I want to catch the growth off Misty as well, because what will be on the table for me in regards to the Bitcoin bull run is towards the end of the bull run, there's a potential chance that we will, well, actually, I'm not ever going to sell my Misty position. I'm not going to say ever. I'm going to say that most likely, barring a black swan event, I will ride the wave on Misty because I believe the new lows are the current peaks that we're talking about. And everybody's like, there's going to be a pullback. I think the pullback will be to these numbers. That's my thesis. So I'm riding this like Bitcoin, but this is Bitcoin that pays me as Bitcoin goes up. So now I'm holding Bitcoin, I'm buying MicroStrategy, and I'm getting paid as MicroStrategy goes through the roof. I've had 2 months in a row with a $4 per share plus dividend payout now. And I believe as we roll through, obviously we're going to have some lulls and some pullbacks and then some parabolic skyrocketing. We will be buying those dips. We will forever be dumping income into Misty first, and then we will be demarcating shares and allocations that I will track manually for what gets fed back into the machine, fed back into the what we call it, the reinvestment into the income portfolio, and the shares sans the income portfolio. And we're going to be obviously doing the MicroStrategy. We'll be putting in a little bit more cash. I'm questioning now whether I want to, for the bull run, whether I want to just feed in the maximum of what I could afford when I was buying MicroStrategy at lower cost and just feed that into Misty. And I think that's what I'm going to do. and then just keep building that nugget up. And then as we're every check that we get that share. And then as we blow those positions up or feed it into Misty and then let that feed into the portfolio so I can have some cash in the long-term portfolio and we can see what we can do with it. Yeah. We also now have to, now that we're on the other side of the surgery and these bills, we're getting there. I got to start setting some money and setting my options portfolio up so I can get back into those positions. Because the one option play that I put in that I held on to, that was me doing it, didn't work. So I got to tap back in with Trapper, and we're gonna have to follow what Trapper do because they printing over there too. And I want all these different bags. We want to create a bunch of income streams within this portfolio. Now we have the income portfolio that is printing. That is printing. And so there's no question about it. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And old Reckless Ray making option plays of his own volition, not going well. What did go well though is that income portfolio. Now we're circumventing NAV erosion, and we get to. I mean, I'm looking at least 12 more months of circumventing NAV erosion. Like I don't think we'll be experiencing it for at least 12 months. Also, as MicroStrategy like works its way up in value and it grows, that's also going to eat up NAV erosion. And it's a highly volatile stock. So that's the thesis. That's what we're doing. That's how we're playing this out. Everything's going into Misty. We're going to be buying that like gangbusters. And then we'll be figuring out if we want to reallocate that into some other positions come the end of the bull run, or if we're just going to keep rolling it in like that and then using the wheel strategy, because the wheel strategy is super efficient. You just have to, in this scenario where we're coming out of one portfolio, I'm keeping track of shares because there will come a time where certain chunks of these Misty shares will get transferred into another portfolio for specific purpose, such as house maintenance, fixing house stuff, and then automotive maintenance and payment. Those are going to be two things. I think the next car that I buy, though, will probably be purchased out of this portfolio solely. So that way, when we buy it, it'll be, and I'm going to do it kind of like what we're doing for the beginning of the year here, which is the portfolio just kind of gets turned off as far as sending money out to help manage debt or anything. And it just cycles within itself to prepare for taxes. I think after we do that, the amount of payment that we'll get on the back end of that after taxes are all settled, after the dust settles for 2024, is going to create so much more income for the blow off top months as we go through crypto summer back into fall for that parabolic run into winter. I think we're going to get some insane payments out of that. And I think that's where the car is coming from. Like we're probably going to start like 50-50 in that and figure out a way to, over that run, that's probably when we'll be looking at an automobile, if not over the summer, and then just have a large chunk of that car payment get taken off as those dividends roll in. Because I think if we do the summer months and do that, we can pay the car off. But it depends. I might just pay the debt off and then set money aside and be ready. And then as we hit that parabolic run, make some adjustments, pay the car off. But that's what we're looking at. I think that it's going to be very interesting. I have very high hopes. I'm very long. I'm as long MicroStrategy with their current setup and what they're doing as a business now as I am with Bitcoin. It's just, this is my Bitcoin in my traditional portfolio. And as we've stated with the goals, we're looking at things that produce income or exponential growth, which means that there's not a lot of stuff investment wise that I'm going to be investing in right now. I mean, honestly, a lot of this, like I have some secondary positions that we went over in the portfolio, but I think I'm probably only going to be buying like 3 stocks, and the primary one's going to be MicroStrategy. I think that's what we're looking at, because there just isn't anything else that is going to perform as well. Like, there's just not. Like, Bitcoin has a 30% risk-free return. So, and I mean, that puts MicroStrategy with a 1.5x on Bitcoin at about hold on. We're gonna ask my calculator. God, why did I grab my mouse? This is what happens when I record late in the evening. I get real dumb. Yeah, 45% return, risk-free on the MicroStrategy stock. So, and I understand. Hold on, one thing before we get out of here. I understand people go, "Oh, well, then why would you hold Bitcoin?" Period. It's because MicroStrategy is tied to America. I got to cash that out in dollars. If something happens with the dollar, or if I travel, then you run into complications. Now I got to send money. Like, I'm always going to have Bitcoin because I can go anywhere with Bitcoin and exist with Bitcoin. I can't go to Bali and sell MicroStrategy stock. Now, what I can do is sell, convert to dollars, and while I'm in Bali, I can live off those dollars because the dollar stretches over there. But if we ever get into a point where the dollar don't stretch, I'll be selling, going to dollars, and then immediately going to Bitcoin, so that way I can preserve my wealth. It's that simple. So in my stock portfolio, because I will be burning the stocks and I will be utilizing that income well before I ever touch my crypto. That's why. Like, that's the play that I'm making. So I want exponential growth within my traditional finance portfolio. So again, it brings me back to where we're going to be heavily involved in stocks. Obviously, AI, chips, going to probably have an American car company in there. Tesla, of course. Why wouldn't you? Because we want things that are going to be growing, not things that have to be subsidized. We want innovation. We want forward. Might throw some Rivian in there and do a little bit of, little gamify on that, because Rivian's doing some really good stuff. But those are going to be the things that we're looking for, because obviously we're trying to retire early, but also I have a higher risk tolerance than most people because I come from the crypto space. Like, I'm built and used to volatility, very high volatility. Also, I know how to buckle down when needed. That's the reason we have the income portfolio. So it's the income portfolio as the first line of defense. We're supposed to have all of our stuff handled out of there. If you need to dip in or sell something off, that's where the long-term portfolio comes in. If you got to start eating a portfolio, that's the portfolio. Bitcoin, crypto portfolios, resource of last reserve, catastrophic event, bug out. All the other money is gone. World's on fire. That's when we want to touch that. Unless we get leveraging back in America for good rates, then we could touch it a little bit sooner because it's going to be growing indefinitely. But also, after a certain point, after I get a certain amount in my long-term holding portfolio, we're going to turn the margin on it because exponential growth. I don't want to have to sell the stocks. I would prefer to hit the margin first and then pay back the margin and then work from there. So these are the things that we're looking at. And I'm hoping you guys are finding value in this. I want to know what you guys think about my MicroStrategy strategy. Am I off my rocker? Am I crazy? Or are you guys kind of starting to understand? Because obviously my thesis is Bitcoin's going to $1 million. So this is also a no-brainer on the traditional finance side. And I would rather have that than a middleman in between some Bitcoin that I hold anyway. So let me know down in the comments. If you made it this far, definitely hit that like button. Also, if you made it this far in the video and you really just soaked up this knowledge, you chewed the meat and spit out the bone, sucked the marrow out of the bone, hit that subscribe, join the wolf pack. You're more than welcome to come back. Hate watchers, give me a thumbs down and hit that subscribe so that you can thumbs down every single video that I make, because that counts too. Till next time, people. It's your boy Reckless Raidenero, and we are out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play it, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.